Morning. So, Abby, can you be number 1? Alfie, number 2. Ben, number 3. Bridget, number 4. What I would like you to do is here, I've got a recap. Open up on Google Classroom, summary of fitness demands. So if you go on to Google Classroom, you'll see here that you've got a Google slide. When you click on this, it should open like this, and you will see that you've got a slide here. What I've done is I've got this so you can move it and you can put it wherever you think it should go in terms of your sport in order. Okay, so the most important component of fitness or fitness demands should be at this end, and the least important should be down at that end. If it stresses you out, can I move that around like that? There you go. So you can move it round so that they can all go in a line like that. Okay, and then in fact, just you do that, have 5 minutes doing that, and then I will see who's done what, and we'll show the rest of the class. Okay, off you go. Good. All right, we'll go for one more person before I set you on to the next task. This is where everybody's panicking. All right, number 8. Who's number 8? Can you take your mic for me?
That was me.
Hi, Elspeth.
Hi.
Let me see if I can find you on here. There we go. Have you managed to do it on the slide?
Yeah.
All right, great. Elspeth, remind me of your sport.
Yeah, netball.
Netball, of course it is, yeah. All right, so you've gone for agility as number 1. Why number 1?
Because, like, for the whole thing, you're trying to, like, mark someone else and kind of move into different positions all the time.
Yeah, good. And I like that reaction time is number 2. Why have you decided? For those who don't play netball, why do you need to have good reactions?
Because, like, if you're trying to intercept, you need to, like, as soon as they've thrown the ball, you need to react and move into the right place.
Yeah, great. All right, so last question then. Explosive power has been moved right down the end of your list. Why is that?
Well, I wasn't sure where to put it.
Okay, why? Go on, why?
I don't know, I just wasn't sure, like, what situations you'd need it, like.
Yeah, I think it would just be from a setting off point of view, or from a pass, wouldn't it? A really strong pass that you need. Yeah. But yeah, okay, all right, that's good. Right, what I want you to do then now we've got this information there. This is the setup for the next slide. So you'll notice I've shared the second one with you. And it says here, compare the fitness demands of your sport and how they affect fitness training. Okay, so we're moving this on a level now. We understand about the fitness demands of our sport, that's clear. But what I want you to move it on to say which ones are the most important and why aren't some important? And then also, how would that affect fitness training? So if we take Elspeth again as an example, it could be that these top 3, she can say, are the most important because you might want to group those together as well, because speed, agility and reaction time are all to do with changing direction, about getting into new places quickly. And then Elspeth could also say that the bottom 3 are things that she wouldn't use on a general basis within her sport. Okay, but in terms of training, speed might be something that they would do quite often with a ball in training. So that's the kind of answer I want you to put in. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes. I'll stop sharing this screen, but I'm going to give you 10 minutes now to go away and do that second slide and try and use as many examples as you can from your sport to describe the things that you've got in the list there. Okay, try and get every term in if you can to say why it's important or not important. Okay. We've got here, if you can see on the right hand side of my screen, this is everybody and this is the numbers that I gave you. So what I'm going to get you to do is work in pairs based on the list on the right hand side. Okay, so Abby and Alfie are going to work in pairs, Ben and Bridget, Ella and Ellie, Ellen and Elspeth, Emily and Finlay, Grace and Jack, Jamie and Matt, Millie and Nicole, Olivia and Paige, and then Sam, Sonny and Will, the 3 of you can swap work with each other. So what's going to happen, let's take Olivia and Paige, is Olivia, on your presentation, on your Google slide, you will see in the top right hand corner, it's got a function to share your work. So if you click on share and you type in Paige's name, it should come up with her name. You should be able to click on it, and then you can share your work. Okay. And then if Paige, you do the same for Olivia. So then both of you can see each other's work. It will come into your Google Drive and it'll say shared with me. All right. So if I just show you this now, my Google Drive, you've got shared with me in that left-hand corner there. If you click on that, it'll show all the documents that are shared with me, and you should be able to click onto your partner's work. Okay. What I would like you to do then is go on to their work. So I'll choose Millie's. And because work's shared with me, I'm going to read through it. And then what I might choose to do is I might pop a little comment on there saying, can you explain this in more detail? Okay, and I'm going to comment, and then what will happen is she will be able to see my comment, and she'll be able to add a little bit there. So you're acting as a critical friend, so don't take this as a judgment on your work. It's just that when you're looking at it, sometimes you can't see that things need adding to it, or it needs a bit explaining. And the benefit of us doing what we've just done with mixing you up, so you're not in your natural friendship groups, is hopefully that will mean you're across different sports. So something that you might take for granted might not have been explained fully because you're just taking for granted the other person knows what that is. Okay, so can you now, for up until 22, can you look at each other's work and just give some constructive comments, please, for your partner? I'm going to move on to something a little bit different now. We've done a really good recap there on the things that we did last week. And we've also started putting a little bit more detail to it now. So we're starting to understand the different layers of assessment and grades. So if I just share this with you, what we need to sort of touch on today is to think about energy, all right? Because that's really going to affect our training programs. If we have the right level of energy expenditure, then we will be able to perform at our maximum. That's the premise of this. So the little diagram there really explains it very well, is that the amount of energy that we take in, as I was talking to Jamie there about food, we should be taking as much energy in as the energy that we're expending or burning as we do exercise. And that is ideally how elite athletes want to be. If you've got where you've got too much energy going out and we're not eating enough, then you're going to be calorie deficient, you're going to lose energy, and you're going to feel tired. And no elite athlete wants to be in that situation. Okay, so very quickly then, we're going to swap this over to you. So what aspects of your sport do you think use the most energy? So if you think about your whole competitive activities, or even your training if you want to, what uses the most energy? And can you put that answer into the chat? I'll just put the chat up here. So what aspects of your sport use the most energy? And pop it into the chat for me. Okay, I'll just give you another 30 seconds to add something in, and we'll go to the random number generator again, and we'll get somebody to comment for me. So we need to ask some questions about this, so let's have a go. Right, number 17. Who was number 17?
Me.
Hi, Olivia. So remind me of your sport again.
Rowing.
Rowing, that's it, of course. All right, so what was your answer?
I haven't put on yet. I don't know what's for.
Okay, so when you're rowing, what do you feel like is the hardest bit of your sport that takes up your most energy?
Probably like the power out of your legs. Like you've got to use your legs the most.
Okay, all right, great. So you think that would take up the most energy. And is it fair to say that when you're doing training, whether that be sport-specific rowing training or fitness training, that's really hard to do?
Probably because when you're doing like weight training as well, you've got to like focus on that.
Okay, all right, great. Just as a quick one there, sorry, when you do weight training, do you do specific stuff on your legs?
Yeah, well, we kind of like do it different. So you do like one day you do like legs and then back and arms like different days.
Okay, so when you're doing legs, can you give me an example of an exercise you would do on your legs?
Squat.
Squat, okay, yeah, brilliant. All right, we'll have another contribution on this one. So number 10.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, hi Finn. This could be a good one.
I said tackling.
Yep.
Because it's probably the most important bit of rugby, and it probably takes up the most energy because it's happening most of the time in the game.
Yeah, you'll see why I'm asking this question in a second. But how long can a tackle take?
For like 5 seconds.
Yeah, okay. So it's a relatively short thing, isn't it? But at the time, the impact and the power required within it, it's really tough, isn't it?
You got to do 6 of them as well.
Yeah, in a row. And Finn, what position do you play?
Second row.
Sorry, it's a second row. So literally, when you're involved in those big tackles all the time, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's have one more. We're looking at energy today in the second part of the lesson. So what I'd like you to do is, and I'll put this into the chat for you. Can you just now, let's copy that. I'll put it into the chat. There we go. Can you just have a little watch of this video? I don't want to share it on here because sometimes the quality goes and you can't watch it properly. So if you can copy that or click on it and you can just have a little watch of this video, it's going to explain the different energy systems that we have in our body. Some of you may have heard of this before, some of you might not. So have a little watch of that. I'm going to give you 10 minutes and at 10 past 10, I'll come back and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Okay? Like football or rugby or netball, then we will have times when these will drop, but then in a performance they will rise again for these different energy systems to come in. Because if we were a footballer and we're running down the wing, we want to do that at high intensity, and we can't do that just with the aerobic system alone. Okay. So our last little activity before we have a break. What I want you to do now is write these down somewhere. Doesn't matter where it is, whether it's electronically or whether this is based on you just writing it on a scrap of paper. Can you write those down? Okay. And then what I would like you to do on the opposite side of that is write down which energy systems you think we would be using.